morning. We're killing a few minutes. We're waiting for Deb. She had something she wanted to get before we start, so she'll soon be here. So I thought that while we were killing a little bit of time waiting for her, that I would show you what I've been working on. So this is what I've been working on. It's the Lori Holt Prairie Meadows sew along. And I've been really wanting to do this because I feel that I need it to practice before we start the calico sew along, which I think is towards the end of January or February. So I've got a few blocks done. So this is applique using Lori's technique, and excuse me, I didn't take the time to iron these. So I've been experimenting because every time I've done her type of applique in the past, I have always used the invisible thread. So I decided I wanted to try one without the invisible thread and see whether I like that better or not. So each color is sort of semi-matched, so there's a lot of thread switching. So your bobbin thread, you don't have to switch, you just switch your top thread, and so that makes it a little easier. And it's done in layers, so you have to sort of plan your block. And this is the Lori Holt method with the sew-in interfacing. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, I'll just show you. So like here is the center of one of the blocks, and you can see that it has the sew-in oh my word, there's Wally, he's up. So it has the sew-in interfacing, so you don't have raw edges in her technique, right? So you have to sew it and then turn it, and then all your edges are, all your seam allowances are inside, and then you applique it on. So it's done in layers. So some people do it in different ways, but like where this one is sitting on top of this one, I would actually applique this one before I glue this to the block and do it, just because it's easier to maneuver this little piece on your sewing machine than it is your whole big block. So anything that I can do in layers like that, I do it first. So I haven't decided 100% if I like the matching thread as well as I like the invisible. The invisible is way more forgiving in the fact that it, you know, you don't see if all of a sudden you come in on your color a little bit too much. You don't see that, right? So I haven't decided if I do kind of like picking out the thread and whatnot. Although it's challenging, I'm just going to see if I can find one to show you. Like when you have a fabric like this that has light and dark, you can't use the dark. Or I found I didn't like the looks of the dark, that the dark red showed up too much. So I actually match with the lighter pink. And you still see it some, but I like the looks of going lighter when there's an option to do both. Yes, Debbie, we do have a storm coming.
Yeah,
Thank heavens for generators. So there's that one. So I think technically she's on week 4 this week, but I'm just sort of doing my things as I go. Oh, you made it! You're deciding to join us. She's back. I'm back.
She was out in the shop.
Oh, that's
spying on
her. So that's what I've been working on.
Those are amazing, Twyla.
So Lynn likes using colored thread. Well, once I get my quilt totally done, Lynn, I'm gonna have an opinion. I'm gonna have to compare it to the invisible thread because I just can't decide, but I need to make up my mind before we start the calico sew along next year, what I'm going to do, right?
I don't know. I prefer the invisible for some reason.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to lean that way, but like I said, the invisible is more forgiving.
It is.
It is, and I think that's what I'm leaning towards. But I wanted to do it just to try.
Yeah, but you don't need to be forgiving on yours because yours is perfect.
No, it's not. It's far from it. Anyway.
So the reason that I'm a little bit late.
Oh, jeez. Hi.
So the reason I'm a little bit late is I'll explain a little bit about the charity quilt. So I kind of made a little bit of boo-boo when it comes to the charity quilt, didn't I?
Well, it could have been any of us who made the little boo-boo. Who knows, right?
So anyway, I had told you that I had forgot a couple of squares. Found a couple of squares when Karen and I were cleaning my room. And a couple of people said, "Where's my square?" Anyway, so I found the squares. With the help of my man sewer, we sewed together another quilt. And then comes the second boo-boo. The second boo-boo was when I realized I forgot to put a lady's name into the draw who had given us a quilt. So Barbara messaged, she said, oh, I didn't see my name in the spinning wheel. We checked everybody's name, and yeah, she was the only one that we missed. So I decided, with the help of Lloyd, my mansewer, that we would make up another charity quilt, and we will give it to her instead of doing another draw, just to compensate for the fact that her name didn't get in for the draw. So last night I set up my second long arm machine out in the shop and did my first quilt on it and decided to do the charity quilt on it. So here it is. We got it done. Hot off the presses.
Literally hot off the presses. That's where she was.
That's where I was. It was just finishing the last roll.
Can we?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
it's awesome.
Yeah, I put the light strips in this just to make it a little bit bigger.
Nice.
Anyway, so this is going to be shipped out to Barbara as soon as I get it bound, and that'll probably
I
happen
like the
today.
pattern you quilted on it. That's
I know too.
nice.
It's a new pattern on my machine.
Ooh, I like it.
Anyway, so that's my excitement for the morning, and that's why I'm a little bit.
That's why
late.
she's running around like a chicken with her head cut off.
Yeah, and so now I got to sit and unwind and sew whatever you told
Okay.
me to do.
Well, so first off, okay, sit and get your breath.
Sit and get my
Get your breath.
Okay.
Okay, so today we are starting the Peppermint Lane sew along. So this, if you want to sew along, all you have to do is purchase the pattern because it is a copyrighted pattern. We can't give out measurements or anything, but Deb's going to show as she sews a block. We had like a demo of most of the blocks pinned up on the wall, and it's been shown a few times. So this week we had decided we're going to do, where is it? This ornament row right here. So we have 4 already done. We're going to do the 5th one today just to show you how it goes together. So there's the 4.
Yes.
So the one we're doing today is red, and obviously it's going to go on this end because we chose to do red, green, red, green, red, right? So anybody who bought a kit or who's thinking of picking out fabric, this pattern is written a little, it was designed as a block of the month. So it's written with like requirements for each month. So if you're trying to figure out your total yardage, it's a little bit tricky. So we started with a third of a yard of 9 different prints, and we had enough, no problem at all. You also need, for the whatever you pick to go with, for the little, where is it? Gingerbread. Make sure you have something that's going to contrast and show up for his buttons and bow tie, depending on what color you plan on doing your gingerbread. So if you do a dark gingerbread, you may want a light buttons and bow tie, right? You also need, which I don't have it here to show you, but in your little candy canes right here, so see how you have your stripes, you have a red and a light. Because your background is probably going to be light, unless you choose something else, you've got to have a little bit of contrast on this light in the candy cane, or it's not really going to show up. So keep that in mind, but you don't need much of that. You don't need a third of a yard. Like, you just need a little 6-inch strip.
The
gingerbread thing. You just need a little 6-inch strip. Yeah. You also need a 1/2 meter for your first dark border. And if you're going to use a lighter big border and bind in the same one, 2 meters should do it. So that's your requirements. And we're going to take this gadget out of here.
Okay. I just wanted to answer Stephanie's question.
Okay.
The invisible thread is not like a fishing line, and it's not plastic. It's poly cotton.
So you can iron it, like within reason. You can't put your iron on it and leave it there forever.
You can't with most poly or any threads, really.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It actually is really good to work with. You just can't put it in your bobbin.
Yeah, exactly. You just put it away thread. But yeah, it's an amazing.
Ask me how I know not to put it in your bobbin. It really makes a mess.
Look at this.
Okay, so here's our what our block is supposed to look like, and here's our pieces. So, oh, that's the other thing. This here, if you bought a kit, it's going to be probably not that exact one. It's probably going to be
the gingerbread guy.
This print is the same color.
Yeah. Just something that looks like a little bit of a pewter look.
Of a pewter look, or if you've got a piece of like gray or silver that you want to make it look like your metallic ball hanger or whatever, go for it, right? So this is the top row and this row. So you're just going to start sewing rows together. But then when you get here, to get Here, I'm going to make you guys dizzy. These outer 4, you've got to do your typical half square triangle. But it's a little bit, can you see how it's a little bit off? See how you get like your line isn't going from corner to corner, right? And that's why this one's a little bit smaller. I can't give you measurements, but you'll see as we do it, right? And then this one, you're going to do 4 with like a little flying geese type thing right here. So that's really all there is to it. And these 2 pieces we're going to add after because those are like your sashing strips and this top piece over here.
And so I'm going to sew it, not because you guys wouldn't know how to sew it or it's hard or anything. It's very simple. It's just some people are visual people and like to see it go. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm going to do.
So what are you going to start with?
I'm going to start with these babies.
The little flying geese babies?
So you want to tell them a couple options?
So you can always draw a line corner to corner on your little white block and sew on your line. You could, because they're not very big, you can eyeball it, which is obviously the step that Deb decided to do. Or you could fold it and just make a crease, like with your fingernail or whatever, with your thumbnail or whatever, and follow the crease. So whatever works best for you.
It's a small block, so it's really easy to iron.
It is.
Well,
the bigger
can you grab me a pair of scissors, please? Or Karen?
Pair of scissors, please, out by the thing. Thank you. Okay.
I'm just going to go through and do all of these.
So she's doing one side first, and then when we get our scissors, she's going to trim those. And oh, I should plug in that iron, shouldn't I? I'm going to try to do that without totally making you guys really dizzy, but I'm probably not going to succeed.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, these will do.
Okay, so now she's just trimming a rough quarter of a
rough quarter inch
seam. My, those are sharp scissors.
I
Woohoo!
was specific about which scissors to bring. These are my box scissors. Well, maybe I should get...
yeah, maybe bring another pair.
Can you bring me another pair of scissors?
Like these ones here?
Yeah, those will work perfect.
Perfect,
So
thank
if
you.
those ones don't work.
No, they're box scissors.
We need them.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you can take these and you can finger press or you can iron them.
Guess which option Deb's going with? I would probably just finger press on one that small.
Would you?
Yeah, I would, because you can get a really nice crease with your...
Let's see what we made.
Yeah, so there's a little... It's not your typical flying geese because it's like not truly rectangular, right?
Yeah.
Like you're half one way compared to the other, but it's the same idea.
Yeah.
So you need 5 of these, and out of your bundle, just because we chose these fabrics doesn't mean that that's what you've got to choose.
Exactly.
You can pick whatever ones you want, mix and match. If you want all red balls, do all red balls, whatever you want to do.
The reason I'm doing all these first is because I have to change my foot. I'll do the other half.
Oh, right. She likes to sew when she's just doing a normal seam that isn't on the diagonal. She likes to sew with a 1/4 inch foot on, which
So this is the one that's a little different size.
You're still just going corner to corner on your white block. There we go.
Same idea.
I think we made Debbie Doyle tired when you were trying to cut with her green scissors.
I was trying.
And Steph says this is the perfect time to use the easy press pin from Acorn. Yes, it would be.
It is.
Some people also use the like the roller gadget.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just keep it next to their sewing machine and just give it a roll on little pieces like that. So there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you.
Did you guys notice that my sewing room is neater today?
Her and Karen, they were like little elves this weekend. They got a lot done.
Karen just was like whipping the... what is it? Whipping the what?
Cracking the whip.
Cracking the whip. And I'm very thankful she did. Because it's such a happier place to sew.
And yes, Stephanie, the seam tape on your machine is also a very good option for this. So if anybody doesn't know,
so many
I
options.
thought there was some of that hanging in here in a basket, but it doesn't seem to be in here. Oh, yes, it is. So I'm just going to grab, while she sews here, I'm just going to show you what the diagonal seam tape is. So this is the diagonal, well, when I get it off the hook. There we go. Where's my picture? There it is. This is the diagonal seam tape. It's by Pluck Pluck Sew. And so you line it up so that the red line in the middle is lined up with your needle position. And you bring it down, so you would have it going from your needle down this way. And then you can just follow along on the black line to get your perfect, your perfect 1/4 inch seam. So that's actually a really good option too. And a roll of that lasts forever because it does stick quite well to your machine bed. So there's all kinds of options you can do.
Everybody gets their own type of...
Yeah.
Am I doing this right?
Well, so far it's looking pretty good.
Okay, so then this...
So here, do you want to take a look at your block?
I just want to open this up, make sure I get this going on the right way.
Yep, there you go.
Is that right? The white goes out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now she's sewing her rows together. And because these are tiny, she's probably not going to iron this till it's done.
And that's right. Oh, I can see it coming together already. It's so cute.
It is cute.
It's one of my favorite blocks in the whole quilt.
This will be really interesting, guys, when we put these together, because I sewed the other 4 and Deb's sewing this one. So we'll see how, who's...
But we have the same foot on our machine.
We do. We have the same foot on our machine, so hopefully. What did you use to make your project board? Okay, so Glenda, my project boards are actually the Lori Holt project boards. I have made them in the past with just flannel, but whatever stuff Lori Holt has on hers, I do like it better. Some people put quilt bat on theirs. Some people put flannel. I've done both, but whatever's on hers, I really like it.
It works really well.
It
does.
It
holds it in place.
It does. Like, especially if you're traveling your blocks around, right? Like if you're going somewhere with your blocks, like to a retreat or whatnot. 2 of those suckers with your stuff in between. Great.
So this is how quick this block
Yeah,
is going
this
together.
is really quick, isn't it? So we do have, for those of you who were on the waiting list for the pattern, I think everything got mailed out this week. So if you don't have it yet, it should be coming shortly. If by the end of this week, you guys haven't received it and you were on the list, give us a message in case we missed somebody. But I think everybody's has been mailed out. We have a few copies left if anybody's interested. Steph, I wouldn't press on the project boards because the stuff that's underneath, like, I don't know what you call it, fiberboard, whatever. I don't really feel that that would be safe for a lot of heat, probably. I'll tell you, Glenda, what I used on mine. Do you know what I mean by the, like it's like a corrugated plastic almost that sometimes like political signs are made with it, or, you know, that you see on the side of the road at election time. I had some old signs. It wasn't political signs, but some old signs that I used for mine that worked really well.
I should put the hanger up right, shouldn't I?
Yeah, hang it right. So it's not hanging upside down. So we do have the patterns in the store. The book, it's $25. We have a few extra copies if anybody's interested. We can cut. Okay, so now.
I should press it.
Okay.
Let me press it.
Okay, so she's going to break down and press. Can you imagine that? And then we're going to show you where the different lattice pieces, or whatever you call it, spacers, lattice, whatever. What do you call that?
What are we talking about?
Those white pieces, lattice,
Oh, yeah.
like, or spacers or something.
Yeah. This is where I would have my spray in here too, and spray that, make nice and flat my acorn stuff. Look at that, isn't that pretty?
It's cute. So, if you look at her, where did my blocks go? Right there. So, if you look at, here, hold those up.
This.
Yeah. So, because
This
we're
is gonna go
alternating
under
red
this.
and green, your ones that the balls hang down, you have to put
put it
that
at the
spacer
top.
on the top. So that's what that big wide piece of white is. If your ball is going to be up higher, that spacer piece goes on the bottom. So this one is going on the top. Then it's going to be sewn to the, so that is going to go down the outside edge because we already have one next to the green ball that the red one's being sewn to, because there's one of these between each block and on the outer. I don't know, is there one on the other edge?
I'll pick it up here.
Yeah. I can't remember if there was.
Let's see if this fits.
Moment of truth. How off are we?
I don't know. This is that. Ooh, we're right on.
There we go. Okay. So yes, I think there is a strip on the other edge too, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes it isn't always uniform. Like in a sampler type quilt like this, sometimes you may only have a strip down one side and not the opposing side, depending on how it's joining up.
Oh, that's so cute. That was so easy to make.
It was. It was. So you guys can have fun picking out your... This would be a perfect scrappy. If you've got Christmas scraps, this quilt could be done with scraps.
That would make a nice mantle runner. Like if you had a mantle in your house.
It would.
And hang out along the mantle. Oh, that would be really cute.
It would be really cute. Yeah.
All right, everybody.
So there it is. Or even just a runner for your table with some borders around it. It would be sweet.
A lot of these blocks can be used as runners or placemats.
Yes.
Like these would even be cute placemats. Like 3 of them and then put some borders around them.
Yes. Now, we were going to show what we were doing next week, but what to do with the block. Is it underneath there somewhere?
Yep.
Okay. So next week, we're going to do these stars. So in this fabric collection, there was actually some browns and taupes in it.
Yep.
So because a lot of the blocks, just hold the book up, are more like Christmas items, like your Christmas trees and your wreaths and your stockings, we had decided that the greens and reds would look really cute for that. So to utilize the browns,
We put them in the stars.
we put them in the little stars. So there are, in these stars, I think there's 6 on that cover. Is there not? 2, 4,
2, 4,
6.
6, yeah.
So that's what we're going to do next week. And I think if I remember right, that we did all of ours in that color combo, all the stars. Yeah. I do believe.
I mean, if you guys want to go ahead and finish the quilt, you're welcome to.
Yeah, you don't have to follow at our pace.
Us.
This is just...
No, this is just our fun sew along.
Yep, it is. So that's next week. And have you got anything else you need to say for next week?
I don't think so.
So that's this week's. So have fun picking out your fabrics.
Okay.
And you don't have to do ours. Let's see if anybody switches it up and does something different.
Colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be interesting to see. Okay, we'll see you, everybody.
Let's see if anybody's got any
questions.
Any questions. Steph says if you use the pen, you don't have to spray it later. The pens are amazing.
Yeah, the pens carry the same liquid.
Daisu says there's 7 of those little blocks. Yes, there is. There's one down at the bottom that we didn't see. Right on, Di. Good eyes.
7. Yep.
Perfect.
I can't wait to do the house.
Yeah, the house is really cute, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And so's the coffee mug, though.
Yeah, it is. Okay, guys.
We'll see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.